welcome to our live stream. Today, we're going to explore workforce data and how you can use real employee insights to deliver meaningful support. I'm Anne, communication business partner here at Iris, and I'm joined by our amazing HR expert, Lizzie Barry, and HR product expert, Stuart Bay. Hi, Lizzie. Hi, Stuart.
Good morning, Anne.
Hi, Anne. Great to speak to you guys again today.
So, to kickstart our session, Lizzie, could you tell us why it's so important we understand our people in the first place?
Oh, definitely. So I'm sure this is a topic that's close to the heart of many of the people who've joined us on the session today. Really all about understanding who are the fantastic people that we have within our organisations, what do they need from us, what insights can they tell us, and what more can we do to support them so that they can give more back to the businesses that we all work in and that we want to succeed. So one of the really interesting debates that we hear quite a lot in kind of wider society is all around, now we're part of intergenerational workforces, so that we might have people who are nearing retirement, coming up to the end of their careers, might have very different expectations and values to the Gen Z people who are now entering the workforce and actually trying to balance the different things that they need. And data can be really helpful with that sort of thing. So really trying to understand, actually, do these people or cohorts want different things, or actually are there different lifestyle factors that might play a part? So is it that somebody has caring responsibilities? Is it that some people kind of place more personal emphasis on ambition or work-life balance or career status than they might otherwise do? So really trying to use that data to say, actually, for my population of employees, what do they generally feel? What do they need? And getting data to then support those decisions are really, really important. So some of the ways we'll talk through it today, I know, will be around diversity and inclusion and how we can welcome people from all different walks of life and support them. But also, how do we make sure that people who are new to a particular business or a particular department, how can we make sure that we're tapping into what they need and really understand that sort of thing as well? So data is, as we all know in HR, super central to what we do. And actually, it's really important to think about the ways that we capture that and use that effectively. So, yeah, super excited to talk about this topic today.
Awesome. And Stuart, I believe you've got kind of a demo of how we can showcase this within the software and give people a glimpse into the employees.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, within Cascade, there's obviously quite a few different ways that you can actually collect this data. Whether that's sending a form out to the employees when they first onboard, or whether it's an actual dedicated screen that you've built within the customization tools that you've got within Cascade. So just my example is going to be an actual screen where we can, rather than having a very blunt form that's just being sent out, just asking for those kind of characteristics, what I thought of is just to have a bit more interaction and take more of a gentle approach in terms of collecting that data and also offering the support that you've got. So within here, you can have a dedicated My Profile screen that you can invite the employees to go into and just enter that data in there. Now, once you've actually got this data and you're collecting that within there, this is just a nice personal space for the employees. None of the other employees can actually view this data unless you allow them to. So within here, once you've actually collected that, then obviously the key thing is being able to pull that data back out again. So within here, the query builder, we can obviously, because this is built into a screen, we can generate the fields that we actually want in our reports within the system here, and then just run these queries. So the managers, HR, everybody can all have this level of data within the system where we can list all the nationalities and ethnicities, any disabilities that anybody has, and also, as Lizzie's mentioned, caring responsibilities. So within here, once you've actually got that data, then you can also build these into your dashboards as well. So within here, if I want to list all the disabilities of my team, then I can add those to my dashboards within here, and I can group it into a bar chart if I want, or a pie or a line, or any kind of information that I want on this side. I can choose the colors and the format of this particular graph as well. So that information is always ready and on hand to me at any time. You can also schedule any reports like this to automatically drop into your inboxes on any given date. So people will always be up to date on the information that's going out. Is that okay? Is any queries on that one, Anne?
No, I think that's been super useful, Stuart. So certainly in terms of being able to collect that sort of data, that's been super, super helpful for us internally here at Iris. So really being able to understand who makes up our workforce, so that we're also then able to say, okay, well, how do we focus on the different needs that we have of different people within our business is really, really valuable to us as HR professionals. So always great to share that information. Thank you.
Yeah, I guess, Lizzie, I'll shoot this back to you. So I guess in addition to this quantitative employee data, is there anything else we can get to better understand our people, something more qualitative?
Yeah, definitely. So we absolutely love Cascade, as I'm sure you can imagine, and it's our HR system. So we want to use it to its full potential for gathering all of the information that we need on our teams. And one of the really fantastic things that Stuart will show you shortly is that you can survey staff using Cascade. So not only are you getting the quantitative data, actually you can get really easy written feedback from employees, either anonymously or named, if you'd prefer to do it for named individuals, so that you're really able to get that feedback from them about what they need. So I know some organizations do annual surveys. We've actually moved to doing monthly surveys so that we're really capturing all of the fantastic insights that we have from people across the organization, and being able to actually tailor those questions to what we need to know, and to gather feedback about initiatives that might be coming up is super, super helpful. One of the things that we can also do is do things like surveys as part of key moments in the employee life cycle. So things like during an onboarding process, so that we can see how new starters have found the onboarding process, that they've got what we need. We can do it for exit interviews, and we can do it at any point in between where we really want to capture what our employees are feeling and great information that they might want to tell us. So Stuart, over to you if you want to show people a little bit about how that works.
Yeah, no problem at all. I will just move you over to my screen again. So within the reports section where you can actually store all your enhanced office reports, you've also got the survey manager within Cascade here. So as Lizzie's mentioned, you can do anonymous as well as named surveys in here. And I've got all my surveys based on categories within the system, things like my wellbeing surveys. But the one we'll focus on is the new starter feedback, as Lizzie's mentioned. So we can build these into our onboarding process, whereby the employee, once they've reached a certain number of hours or days that they've actually worked with the organization, then we can automatically send them out a survey after 6 months or so, where we can start answering questions. So we can have text boxes in here, we can have drop-down lists. We can also be asking the employees what kind of benefits that they want to apply for within here as well. So this is going to feed through to HR and anybody else who needs this data. So this can be applied to the relevant benefits platforms, and also feed through to our seamless payroll system as well. So once you've actually got all of this data, it's a case of being able to quantify and get your results and actually act on the data that you're receiving as well. So what we can do within here, based on the responses that you're actually giving within the system, we can have automated workflows built in here to be reactive to the answers that people are giving. So whether that's within the actual profile screens that people are entering in or anything else, then you can have certain alerts and triggers within the system based on any kind of answers that they've given. So I've got a very basic one here where, based on a disability that the an employee puts into the system, if they've listed a specific disability, then that can automatically notify HR that they've listed a disability in their profile screen. And then we can get the confirmation from HR that the correct support has been offered to that employee based on the results that we've actually put in there.
Wonderful. No, thank you, Stuart. And I think that's so helpful, particularly for organisations as you're growing, as you're hiring more people, or that we just want to free up some of the time within the HR team. Actually having those automated workflows in place to be able to act on that data and trigger follow-up actions is so helpful. So no, really thank you for sharing there.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess for businesses looking to up their employee data game, what kind of information do you think they should be capturing? What do we need to better understand our workforce?
Absolutely. It's a great question. So it really depends where people are starting from. So there may be some people who actually have only ever collected the very basic information that they might need to know in order to get their employees paid, for example. So actually really thinking about what information can I gather that will give me useful insights. So one of the things that can be really useful is actually that data about diversity and inclusion to really help you understand actually what points of life are my employees in, what sort of benefits might they need, what sort of support might they need to get the most out of their time here. So this could be things like gender, ethnicity, whether they have caring responsibilities. As Stuart mentioned, can be really helpful to capture if somebody needs additional support or accessibility, either for a physical condition or actually for things like neurodiversity, and actually is there software that we should be providing for employees to support with that. So really being able to have that data there allows you to take those decisions about, am I making my workplace the most welcoming and supportive that it can be. So then one of the things that you're able to do with those surveys is to say, actually, do I have a key cohort of really young people in the organisation? So if we've done a lot of recruiting graduates, and actually how are they feeling about their time here? Are there more things that they would like to see? And likewise, more information that might go to new hires to say, okay, well, do you guys have children? Do you have caring responsibilities? What would you like to see from us that would enable you to, again, get your most out of your time here and out of your working life? So really helpful to gather that sort of information. And Stuart, I think you've got a wonderful example of just some of the ways that we can automate that for our new hires. So over to you there.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, within that automation process, so we need to, if I just very quickly share my screen there. So once we've actually got that data that we needed, then it can be down to the workflows to actually go into place. So again, the workflows, you can have unlimited amounts of workflows within the system. But as mentioned, we can have disability alerts within here. We can have any kind of protected characteristics, and even down to being carers within the system. We can have those alerts within here where we can, notify HR, and then we can offer the support that's required on there. But that can also feed in from any kind of benefits platform that people have selected as well. So if they selected a specific set of benefits, then we can automatically issue documents and anything else that's associated with that as well. So it's that full automation and support package that we can offer based on any kind of data that's getting entered into the system. And that's the key thing for the DEI. It's not that we're actually collecting the data, it's what we're actually doing with it afterwards. So it's entirely an open book in terms of what you can do and what you can generate within here.
Wonderful. Thank you, Stuart. And I think, yeah, that's one of the most useful things actually that we find about the functionality is being able to easily customize the information that we gather. So we know, for example, over the past few years, actually, the rise in trans employees or people who kind of want to explore their gender identity means that we've needed to create new fields to actually allow people to self-identify. So actually being able to update the different information that we're collecting as kind of these things move on, to make sure that we're remaining inclusive and relevant as things develop. It's really, really helpful for us. So actually having that flexibility, super, super valuable.
Yeah, amazing. So we've captured the employee data, we've sent surveys out to get likes and employee sentiment. Now that we have these insights, what support can businesses put in place?
Oh, I absolutely love this question. And I can think of so many different examples that we've used as ways of within Iris that we have put this data into action. I think probably where we really started using this data was actually during COVID, when the personal experiences of people were really varied depending on the circumstances that they had at home. So the people who lived on their own and might not have been able to bubble up with somebody else, we needed to know, how do we support people who work is their only contact during the day, and they might otherwise not be getting support and might feel quite isolated, and how do we need to support those people versus people who might have kids at home, they're trying to juggle homeschooling. I'm sure I'm giving people some flashbacks here. And actually, what are the different ways that we need to support our employees? So that was really a great way of being able to put some targeted interventions in during COVID, to be able to say, actually, we need to run some webinars for our working parents who are trying to also juggle childcare during COVID, to actually address their needs that might be very different to the needs of people who live on their own. One of the other examples that we've had is around being during the cost of living crisis. Again, we found that impacts different groups of people really differently. So again, people who might have lower salaries or kind of be closer to the breadline, obviously making sure that we're doing tailored support to make sure that actually those people are being supported, and actually getting feedback from employees about what they need from them from us, I should say, has been really, really crucial in that as well. So all sorts of different great examples that we can see there. One of the really nice examples that we've got at the moment is we've been doing, as I mentioned earlier, lots of hiring of graduate cohorts, lots of apprentices, and actually really thinking about the ways that we can support them in the beginning of their careers. So making sure that we're doing regular surveys, really speaking to them, understanding their needs and what they would like to see. So one of the interesting things that we've seen, and particularly from managers and feedback from managers of Gen Z, is actually Gen Z stereotypically like to talk about their feelings. They want good work-life balance. They need their managers to be emotionally intelligent and open with them and having those conversations. So really thinking about actually what are the ways that we can do for training on Gen Z in entering the workplace, what it's like, particularly if they're starting by working remotely, and also how can we then train those managers to support them and give them what they need. So I know that Cascade has some fantastic training portals and opportunities there to really support that process. So Stuart, I don't know if you want to give a quick example.
Yeah, sure. So within here, obviously, you've got that comprehensive training dashboard within the system. So what you can have is a dedicated area for all your training and needs, and that can be built up using profiles within the system. So you can have as many different training profiles in here as you like, and they can all have specific training courses attached to them. So for instance, you can actually have a Gen Z training profile if you want to, in terms of, and have some very specific training courses and tasks that need to be done as part of that profile. Just as an example here, I just have an administration role here, where we can see, which training courses are actually required as part of that administration role. But this can be for literally anything. As I mentioned, you can do this as your Gen Z profile and set up those specific training courses and requirements that are needed. But once you've got those, then within the HR profile for an employee, if I just very quickly drop into there, what you can have is specific training and development screens within here, where you've set that profile against the employee, and then you can be monitoring what their development is and how they're doing over the course of the year. If there's any particular training courses that they need to do, you can set, or any tasks that they need to do, or any support that you're going to give them. But you can set those target dates into the system of when they need to be achieved by, and then you can be monitoring whether or not they've been achieved. The great thing about this is obviously this is going to produce any kind of reports that you need to identify any skills gaps that any of the employees have got within there, and also any other tasks that are outstanding for the managers to do in terms of that support that we're giving to that, that group of employees. How does that look? Is there anything else on there, Lizzie, that you like? Or?
Oh, no, I'm such a big fan of this. I think it's so useful. I mean, number one, for employees to be able to see actually what sort of training is out there and what training they need to do to succeed. And again, also from an HR perspective, to be able to have all of that information there, to have those pathways to be able to be automated and reminders sent to employees and be able to pull reports to track who's done them and who we need to chase is just really, really useful for kind of having that offering. I think one of the other things that would be lovely to see is, I don't know if you've got it there, Stuart, is around the benefit screen. So I know one of the great pieces of functionality that Cascade has is around actually helping people select their different benefits, as I know that that's often a springboard that we have to go, okay, people have told us they need more info. How do we then feed that into the benefits package that people might need?
Absolutely. So within here, obviously, you can have a dedicated benefits screen within the system. So the employees are going to be able to self-serve on that side, so they can drop into their benefits screen. You can give them access, during the course of the year if there's a specific date that you want to let everyone enroll on specific benefits packages and things like that, or you can leave it open all year round. It's entirely up to you. But it'll list all the current benefit packages that people have actually applied for, and then they can request via specific access and select which type of benefits package they would like to enroll into. Once they've actually completed that, this can go straight through to payroll or to anyone else that actually manages the benefits, and they can enter the details, the costs, the start dates, and the policies, and any other details associated with it. And all of this can flow straight through to the payroll as well. So it can be automatically making the deductions for you. So it's one seamless system once the employee is actually requested to go on to a specific benefits package.
Amazing. Thank you, Stuart. And yeah, I think it's super, super nice to just get some different examples about how that kind of data life cycle flows through. So all the way through from how we can use Cascade to say, right, at the very beginning of your journey with an organization, how do we capture the information we need? How do we workflow that? How do we get the necessary data to make sure that we're supporting our employees? And actually, how do we then use that data to make all of those interactions and processes that might need to happen between HR and payroll to be able to show those as well? So no, I really appreciate it, Stuart. I think it's been a great example of some of the different ways that we can use that data. I know Ant's going to close shortly, but I think probably my final thoughts of really how to make sure that we're using data effectively is ultimately really thinking about actually what data do we need to be successful as an organization, to be successful as an HR function, and then actually how do we use that data? Because it's all very, very well having that data, but if it just sits getting dusty on a virtual shelf, then actually really not getting the impact that you can have from that data. So it's all about using the data to understand who you've got in your organization to be able to then take those actions accordingly. And hopefully everybody's seen just some of the great ways that Cascade can support with that. So back to you then, Ant.
Yeah, no, thanks both. I mean, God, it's been so useful. It's a real nice insight into how we can better understand our people. Well, thank you to everyone for joining us, and we'll see you again in the next one.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks very much, everyone. Bye-bye.